I would rather there be video.
Okay.
What's the point in just having audio? That sucks.
Yeah, I had to hurry up and put on my bra. I
Yeah,
didn't know it was
you gotta do what you gotta do. I know you like to be a topless dancer every now and then, but
exactly.
how's everything?
Oh, great.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get
Yeah.
my glasses.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now I can see a little bit better.
I'm sure your editing team will be able to get me together.
Uh, I won't have to. There's not
Oh
much
no.
unless something just goes wrong. Like you good.
Okay.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah. So what's new?
Always a lot.
Always
I
a
feel
lot.
like yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like every morning I get up, Trump is doing something ignorant or saying something ignorant, and also all the unrest that's going on
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
country is like one thing after another. So yeah, I think you kind of have to like take a step back and just breathe and just say, hey, I'm sure we've had a lot of
So
setbacks,
is it that
in our country.
is it
Go ahead.
that you're paying too much attention to it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that might be it, Rand.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that might be it. I pay attention only when I feel like I haven't tuned in a while. But for the
Okay.
most part, all I just see is a mockery of, of everything that human beings should stand for and strive for. And it's not depressing, it's just embarrassing.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely.
embarrassing and it's shameful to me as a man, not as a black man or anything, but just as a man in general. So, but that's not necessarily. Some would say that's not necessarily the representation of me as a black man because he don't have nothing to do with me. But
No, not at all.
yeah, so that's that. So let's start from the beginning. Where you from?
From Alabama, Huntsville,
Huntsville,
Alabama.
Alabama. I got family
Yeah.
there. I was talking to them yesterday.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah, yeah. Really good people too. Really good
Yeah,
people.
Huntsville folks, we're some good people.
Yeah, they love to cook.
Oh, I don't like to cook. I like to have a cocktail.
Oh yeah, I know what you. I know you like to have a cocktail, but they love to cook and bake. My cousin, she loves to bake, man.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, how did you end up in Chicago?
So I was my both of my parents, they actually met here, and so my mom had my sister before me, and you know my my sister passed away. I think she was about 2 years old. She had a um a disease that was attributed to, I guess, infants taking aspirin. I forgot the name of
Mm,
disease, but anyway, she passed, and my mother wanted to have one more kid. She was she had a big family of 16, so she was like, she always just wanted one kid. So I kind of, you know, I guess was born out of that calamity. But anyway, so she had me, and she didn't want to raise me in Chicago, which is so ironic because I was talking to someone that I'm dating, and so she was just saying that her, she really doesn't want to raise her two sons in Chicago, two
understandable.
young black men. So it's kind of like the same situation. But going back to my story is that, yeah, my mom didn't want to raise me here, so she wanted to move back to Alabama where her roots were, and her mother was, and a few relatives, and she just kind of wanted that support. So she decided to move to Huntsville, Alabama. She's from Decatur, Alabama, just like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes away. But Huntsville is kind of like, I mean, for it to be in the South, is very diverse, and because they have the arsenal there, they have all the technology there, and then they have NASA there. So yeah, so uh,
So, what was
moved
that like
there.
growing up in Alabama?
It was interesting. I mean, I remember my father, one of his best friends, was a rocket scientist, and I didn't think anything of it. I, I mean, I didn't even realize it until I got to college. He was my professor, so I went to
Wow.
all black college, and so I
What
didn't
kind
even know he was a rocket scientist until I took him for physics.
What college was
and
that?
Alabama A&M.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the question that you asked, I came here my first year to go to college at UIC. Because I really liked Chicago when I used to come up here for like holidays and stuff like that to visit my family. And so, yeah, I really enjoy Chicago. So I came here for a semester at UIC and I was like, ooh, this is not diverse enough for me. Because I mean, growing up in Alabama, you're not, I probably, my school was probably, you know, like 70% white, 30% black. So
Yeah.
I just wanted, you know, I love being who I am, and I kind of wanted a different experience. I was one of the only black people in my program at UIC.
No
You know,
surprise there, huh?
you said what?
No surprise there, huh?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, I'm thinking this is Chicago.
Nah,
I'm thinking the university, yes,
nah.
of course. So, yeah, so went back to Alabama A&M University, and then I finished my degree. And I swear, like, the next day, I think I moved. I drove up here with all my stuff and moved here
That fast.
that fast. I mean, as much as, you know, the South is cool, Atlanta, all those other surrounding kind of cities that are
You
close
were just
by,
determined to get to Chicago.
Chicago, go ahead.
You were just determined to get to Chicago.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so. I remember when I used to come here for like holidays when I was at UIC. I would go to different neighborhoods, and I'm like, this is cool. Like it's something different in every pocket.
Yeah.
It's like those little gems in
Yeah.
every pocket, and of course, my black folks on the South Side. Like I enjoyed all of that and all those colorful people. So you know, it was just so cool to be able to just enjoy all of Chicago. And, you know, it was hard for me to run into people, you know, on a regular basis. I think in Alabama and Huntsville, when I went out, you know, like I would see, like I wouldn't meet a new stranger. Like it would be the same.
Yeah. It would just be the same people over and over again. And it gets bland and played out. And you get tired of seeing that over and over again. So of course you're gonna want to explore. What were you studying in college?
Accounting.
Accounting? Okay.
Yeah, accounting.
Is
And
that
so
something you still do now?
I'm an auditor. So yeah, same kind of principles
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
what I do. So yeah.
Debits and credits. Debits and credits.
Debits and credits. Now I analyze debits and credits.
Okay.
That's basically, yeah.
How do you like that part of where you are now as an auditor?
I love it because I meet new people. I don't have to deal with one company, you know, every day. I deal with, you know, multiple companies. I have like 17 audits right now. And they're all different companies, different industries and stuff like that. So that's always cool.
Within Chicago, or is it all over the country?
No, it's actually just in the state of Illinois. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get to move around a little bit, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit. Like I could just, you know, throw my hand up and do some out of state audits, but I feel like the state doesn't pay me more to do that. So
Okay.
unless I just want to get away, but yeah.
So earlier you said your dad's friend was a rocket scientist.
Yes.
Okay. What did your dad do?
My dad was a city engineer.
Okay.
And when I say city engineer, like, so in those terms, like he basically was a mechanic for big equipment.
Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like it's funny because you think about it, like, what were their conversations?
Yeah, that's what I was going. Well, if he's a rocket scientist, that's why I was curious. Like, what did Dad do? Because that had to be a hell of a conversation. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't know. If I would have known that they had such differing of experiences and kind of, you know, I guess I'm gonna say skill or just intelligence levels. I'm sure I mean, my father was smart or whatever, but I don't think he definitely wasn't a rocket scientist.
Nah, in that conversation, talking
No.
to a person that's a rocket scientist, that's miles and miles ahead. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the dude was very goofy, so my father was funny. So I think that's
Okay. Oh, so there were levels to it. Yeah. Of
Mhm. Yeah.
course.
They talked. I remember they talked about sports. They did do that. They did a lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had no idea how special that was growing up, that this man was a rocket scientist.
African American rocket scientist.
Yeah, an African American, an African, an indigenous man walking around
Mhm.
as a rocket scientist.
No.
Everybody just, hey, just speaking to him.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think that's sad that I didn't. And my parents, like my mom, my parents are kind of matter of fact people. They kind of like they are not kind of, as you say, uppity or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because I remember like my mom, one of her really good friends is from Germany. Like it's part of where I get my name from or whatever. But like literally just one day me and my mom were talking and she was like, oh yeah, here are some photos of me when I was younger. This is when when I was working for the Black Panthers. I was like, what? You work for the Black Panthers? Yes.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
right?
I love that. I love hearing that.
Right?
I love hearing it. They go two of them. They go to
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Huey, is that
OG.
Huey and Carmichael?
And Bobby Seale.
Bobby Seale, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I think one of my aunts dated Bobby Seale or Carmichael, one of the two.
Stokely Carmichael.
Stokely, yeah.
Okay.
Dated Stokely. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
That's very interesting. I like hearing stuff like that. That's
yeah,
dope. That's
yeah.
dope.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
My mom was telling me, so another good story that my mom told me that she didn't even think about it because she was talking about, we were talking about protesting,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she was like, oh yeah, I was like, I remember when I was 9 years old and I went to go get a hamburger. So back then a hamburger was like a nickel. But in Alabama, it was coloreds and whites. So she just walked up to the diner counter or whatever, and she was just like, "Give me a burger," and they were supposed to get the burger and walk back out. Her little 9-year-old butt sits there and just eats the burger, and that was like a big no-no. And I said,
Salute
"Mom,
to
so
her for doing it though.
right?"
Salute to her for doing. Fuck that. I salute her for doing that shit.
Yeah, my mom is interesting
Fuck
character.
that. It's a
Yeah,
burger, man. You do something to a fucking kid. Piece of shit.
yes.
Fuck out of here,
So
man.
I guess they were just like she had the balls to eat her burger on the counter. We're not gonna tell her to move.
Ovarian audacity.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So growing up, did they ever talk much about Black Panthers or civil rights movement or
No,
knowledge
so
yourself or
I grew
anything
up a
like that?
Jehovah's Witness.
Huh?
I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. So it
Really?
was like I think that piece of it, they kind of toned that down just because of their religion.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but my mom has always been kind of militant in her own way. So I think that's kind of like the little bit that she draws from. And then like if you ever meet my mom, you'd be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. So I grew up on the Christian side. At what point did you realize that wasn't for you?
I don't know if I can say it wasn't for me because I feel like with all religions, I think all religions you can take a piece of the good thing from it,
Absolutely.
right, and
Absolutely.
learn from that. But I think it wasn't for me. Probably I don't know. I probably when I just started having a mind of my own. Because one thing about religion, they 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 want you to think their way, right?
Yeah,
Their
it's a
their
box.
path, their view.
You gotta be in
Yes,
the box. You gotta be in
yes,
the box. It's oppression. It's oppression.
yes.
Yeah.
Book of Eli.
Huh?
Book of Eli.
Yeah. Yeah.
That movie. It
Perfect
says a lot
example,
about.
right? Perfect example. Yeah, it's all about control. So with that, I grew up under it, and for years, like after acquiring knowledge and hanging around some Muslims and people that were just free thinkers at the age I was 15, 16, I only stayed around just because of family. You know what I mean? And then I developed a relationship with the pastor of the church. So it became, because we were exchange ideas, but the older I got, I started to drift away. I was drifting away more and more and more. And it just was something that when me and him would talk, our conversations were getting further and further apart. Because I could bring up any amount of books to have a conversation or throw them in there to have a conversation. And all of his would just be based on one book, which is fine. You know, if you believe that one book gives you all the perspective in the world, that's fine. But when you can break down that religion and then a conversation kind of gets aggressive, or, you know, you kind of just like turn away from it and go, look, this is getting old. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So the older I got and the more books I read and the more I traveled too, you know, it starts to become this thing where you get to talk to people and see how people really interact.
Yes.
Right? Because where I grew up at on the south side of Chicago, there's not a lot of that you're hearing. Hey, travel, or people are going to treat you differently. They're not going to teach you as bad as you think you, as bad as you're seeing while you're here.
Yeah.
You can have conversations with people. You can talk to them, and people are open to having conversations with you. And that was one of the things that really helped me out a lot too, just being able to get up and start at an island, and then from an island go to another country, and then from one country to the next. And it was a beautiful thing to see, just people having dialogue or just being able to walk by and no one saying you can't be here and you can't be there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was just like, it was freeing. And then when I got home, I was like, this is wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think is so interesting about the way that we perceive America and how great it is. As Trump tells you, like, America has never been great, and will probably probably won't be great to the point where we needed to be great in the next 3 or 4 centuries, probably.
Yeah.
But
the fact that I saw that hat, the first time I saw that hat, I looked at it, I was like, "Make America great again."
Yeah.
And like all, you know, because I read history, so I started going through history in my mind. I was like 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, 2000. When was it ever great? Like when we were just being slaves? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what you want?
Yes.
We ain't have no mind. We weren't thinking. Is that what you're saying? Because that's the only thing I can get out that shit. You know, in the 1500s, no. 1400s, no. Like at no point in time. No point in time was it just great, ever.
Yeah.
Like, there was never any equality. There was never any justice. You know?
Exactly.
When I saw that, I was just like, man, this is gonna start something. And then I turn on the news, and then you see it, like people just go on fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Riots breaking out. People can't have civil conversations because one person knows what the hat stands for, and the other person knows why they're wearing the hat. You know, and it's just, to a certain degree, I just feel like it's all a psyop. You know what I mean? I believe it's just being done on purpose to cause civil unrest, to show people like this is what really happens, or this is how people act. And then they play on those narratives, to me, you know, and then you get to post people and you say, look at how the black community is acting out just over this. And then they don't show what's actually happening or what may have agitated those situations in the wake of civil unrest or riots and protests and things like that. Have you done any protests?
I have not. You know, the last time I protested and kind of went through the street and had a sign was the Women's March.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the last one that I did, and it probably had to be like
the one recently, like a couple years ago, like 3 or 4.
No, I think it was like the Women's March was like 3 years ago, because they were talking about taking our I think taking abortion, you know, freedom of choice and all that away, and they're just having. I mean, they already have pretty much a lot of controls over when we can do what we can do with our bodies. I feel that in a lot of ways. And then they do it on more a government scale where they say, okay, well, the insurance is only going to cover this, you know, this amount or whatever for your health care. So I think in a way, I think it goes back. I don't know. Have you seen the Handmaid's Tales?
The who?
Handmaid's Tales.
No.
Okay, so it's on Hulu. Check it out. It's pretty powerful.
Oh, someone kept telling me, they was like, yo, you'll like it. Check it out. I gotta tune in. Now I gotta tune in. Damn it.
Yeah. It's talking about, you know, all of a sudden, slowly, they were taking our rights away from us women, and then they just totally took our rights away from us. Mm-hmm. And then so all of a sudden, now, if I could board children, like basically I would get raped like every every week I would be with a certain family. I would produce a child, and then I would move on to another house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I'm scared. Look, the way I'm explaining it is kind of, it's not even as brutal as it really is.
Because
Like, I'm just giving you like
it sounds horrible. It sounds horrible.
Yeah, it is.
Very gory.
But it's good though, because
Yeah.
you're just like, wow.
Okay. I'm gonna have to make a note and actually sit down and check that out.
Yeah, but going back to your story, because I think we kind of. So, what age were you when you decided to kind of break away from Christianity?
Completely
right?
break away. I had to be 20 something
Okay.
years old. I was like early in my 20s.
Yeah,
Early in
and I
my
think that's when you kind of really started really thinking for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I was doing. Remember, I was doing music. I think I might have still been actively trying to do amateur boxing or something like that. So I just started becoming more focused on myself, and I was more in tune with the things that made me happy, and the things that made life better for me. And the further I did those things, the less restraint I felt. You know what I mean? And the more conversations I could have with people about books that I read, about history, about traveling. It wasn't just the same setting of being around people who just looked like me. It took me into settings where people didn't look like me. It took me into settings where I could have intellectual conversations with people about anything. And if it wasn't something that we agreed on, we could get to a place where they would say, well, what type of books do you read? And I would tell them, well, I like history. I'm trying to get into astrophysics, shit like that, law or something like that. And go, interesting. Have you ever tried this book out? And they would recommend a book for me. And in turn, I could recommend a book for them. So those things developed friendships, fellowships, relationships with people that allowed me to continue to expand. And I was enjoying that. And I kept telling myself, I don't think I could have got that by being where I was, because no one else around me was accepting of this stuff. I remember at one point, I'm not going to say anybody's names, but I left home. I was gone for some months. My beard had grew back out. I was only shaving my head. And when I came back home, a certain person or persons said that I had converted to Islam. And I was like, see, this is, I was like,
you had
this
the mustache? You had the long mustache?
It was all beard. It was all beard.
Okay. Yeah.
It was just beard, and it was full. It kind of looked like the picture I posted of myself on Facebook recently, where I got the shirt on and you can just see my beard. And it looked like that. And it was just a nice plush, full beard. And it was, I knew he was going to come back as a Muslim. I knew it. He always was a Muslim.
So wait, where did you go?
So I went to Memphis.
Okay.
I went to Texas. And then I went to Florida. And I had no barber. I wasn't familiar with anyone down there. But the moment it started getting like this and it stopped itching, I just left it alone because I knew how to shave my head. Okay. You know what I mean? But when I came back home, they were like, "Oh, I knew it. I knew he was gonna be a Muslim." Like I would just shave my head down low with the trimmers, but the beard had grew all the way out. I had a low cut and a beard, and that's what people were saying about me. And it was just, well, not everybody was, a couple people, but it just showed me like people's belief, they only go on by what they think is the truth. I think the saying goes, people hear what they want to hear, and they say what they want, they believe what they want to believe. So because of that, they didn't ask me any questions like, why the hell you got that big beard or anything like that. It was just automatically assumed that I had converted over to Islam.
And I almost want to say maybe it made them a little uncomfortable.
It did. It did. It made people very uncomfortable. But there were a couple people who came and sat down with me and had a conversation. It was like, what is this about? And I was like, what do you mean? It was like, a whole beard? You've been gone for 4 or 5 months and you come back with a beard? I was just like, I didn't have a barber while I was down there. All right. And I got comfortable with this. Like when you're doing music and when you're working and you're grinding out music and you're going to people's shows and you're showing support and you're helping people sell CDs and T-shirts and things like that, who cares? Like, who's looking at a beard?
So that's even why James Harden has like that obstrosity of a beard.
Yeah,
Okay.
his beard is crazy. I might try to do one of those one day.
It's obnoxious. I mean, sometimes it's just one bar that I go to, and the dude, he has like this Forrest Gump beard, and I'm like, dude, it's obnoxious. And I think one of your hair particles are going to get on my cocktail, and we're going to have a serious problem.
Nah, man, you
Like,
do so much grooming to it that it won't come to that. It won't come to a situation like that. Like you're always grooming it. So by the time you step out, it's in place unless you start messing with it. You know, everything is gonna be where it's gonna be.
okay, so I need to leave this guy alone. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you actually see a piece of hair in your
Hopefully.
cocktail.
I drink my cocktail so quick, I may not even.
That's your problem right there. Check
Yeah,
the cocktail.
hopefully COVID doesn't get on.
Yeah, no, you good.
Hair,
But
hair.
for the most part, once you do your grooming and you step out, it's pretty much gonna be like that. And the only time some hair is gonna slip out is if you go to the bathroom and you comb it or brush it, whatever you need to do to it. You know.
I learned something new. So if you grow your beard out long enough, it doesn't really bother you. Okay.
No, it does. Only time it bothered me is when I was eating, and that's because I had to get used to the technique. Because you can't like go from down straight up. Like you gotta go. You gotta do like your mom used to do as a kid. And you got.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I'm used to eating like that, and then I realized like, oh shit, I can't do that no more. Like I have to go around, you know.
Okay. Oh, I kind of feel like for you to have to find a different eating technique.
Yeah, because I looked.
Maybe something needs to give. He's like, no, I just need to eat different.
Young lady, I mean, salute to that young lady because we became friends after that. But she was like, you got, something in your beard, and she cleaned it out for me. I was like, oh, thank you.
Okay, I'm thinking about something else now, but okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Life is good though,
Okay,
Hey, sometimes you need some conditioner in your beard. It helps it.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure that doesn't feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, So when you got here, arriving to Chicago, did you know what you wanted to do? Did you know it would be accounting?
Yeah. So I was at a I started like at this tax firm on the South Side, just to do something like part-time, get some experience. Because when I got here, probably like less than 6 months when I got here, I met this guy who's in real estate.
Okay.
And so he showed me how to like buy properties and rent them out. So I think I was like almost 22, and I think that was the first time I bought a property.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did that for a while, and then decided, like, I remember telling my friends, like, I'm really gonna have to get like a 9-to-5, like a real hardcore 9-to-5. Because that was like right when I think the real estate bubble busted or whatever. And I was like, this is not working. Like, I really need 9-to-5. So I started working for Northwestern Business College in their corporate space. I was a staff accountant there. Then I changed and I got married probably like 2 or 3 years later.
As a staff accountant, were you dealing with like labor?
Payroll. Yeah, I was dealing with payroll a little bit.
All right.
Not like benefit side, so more of kind of just payroll processing.
Yeah, making sure hours add up and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Yeah, so
married.
You said what?
Then you got married.
Yeah, I got married, yeah. And that was, I feel like 2 or 3 months in, I was like shaking. And I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have gotten married.
How old were you when you did that?
26.
Really?
26, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was interesting. I remember him coming home one day and he was like, I'm hungry. And I was like, what do you want me to do with that? I told you.
What?
I told you. I can only provide one marital
Who said responsibility that? Like, you were just that over it?
Like I'm one of those people that only cook unless I want to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you tell me that, like, basically, you need to cook, I feel like it's some type of, like, I feel like I was setting them on the aid to a degree. And it doesn't feel good to me.
So your man said, I'm hungry, and what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah,
Wow.
what am I supposed to do with that? I was like, I'm hungry too, but I don't tell you that.
They should have said that.
Yeah, but
I could have took that better than you saying that. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm about to cook. I wouldn't even say nothing else. I'm about to cook.
yeah, I have a way with words.
Yeah, I noticed.
What? Yeah, so
I
I have a
noticed.
way with words.
I noticed.
So when I'm totally annoyed, yeah, I may say some things in a certain way that will probably make anybody want to knock me out. So yeah.
Growing up, did you have any role models?
My mom has always been like my big role model, um and my uncle who was pretty close to me. He was like about 10 years older than me, but he was more so he took a lot of time with me since I was the only child. It was kind of like he would we would go to Atlanta, he would take me skating. Um, he would just do a lot of things that a big brother should do, I guess, and would do. So he was kind of like that was my role model. Because he had great business sense. And he was one of those people that just had great common sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me a lot of great things. And yeah, so I think between my mom and my uncle.
Okay. Okay. While you were in Alabama, what were your musical influences?
Ooh. So my mom, I mean, I feel like you always get your musical kind of like, like what you favor or what you don't favor. I think my mom always used to like Anne Murray,
Okay.
Anne Murray and like Billy Ocean. My father loved Otis Redding. So yeah, so I think, and my mom loves Temptations. So like that's what I grew up with.
Okay.
But then as you get older, you're kind of like, okay, I like TLC because I can relate to them, right? Yeah, so I think TLC because I was growing up with TLC. Um, it was like Crisscross. Um, yeah, I think bands like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you can see, like my range in music wasn't that great. I mean, I'm from Alabama, so it wasn't like a whole
I'm just
lot.
saying, like, because at some point, you had to come across maybe a MJG and 8 Ball or maybe
Yes, Outkast, Goody Mob, Goody Mob. So that was, I feel like that was like when I was in high school, college.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my God. Outkast and Goody Mob was just like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were.
But they
Even,
made dope music though. If you were listening to the music, they made dope music.
oh yeah. What was the group from Miami? Lord. Luke and
Uncle Luke.
um Uncle Luke. Uncle
Yeah.
Luke. Yeah.
2 Live Crew.
2 Live Crew, yes, 2 Live Crew. There you go, 2 Live Crew. I definitely don't want my mother to know, even now that I listen to.
Man, that Wild Times. I know anytime that came on, I think my mom would let me. She would prefer that I was listening. Yeah, but she would let me. She would prefer if I was listening to Snoop and Easy and them over.
Oh, yeah, Snoop. Yeah,
She would
Snoop.
prefer that over listening to the 2 Live Crew. I wasn't big. I mean, like I understood it because you see the videos and then you see the little girls around you doing the same stuff. You know, okay, maybe it is good.
Yeah.
But I was more into West Coast hip hop. I didn't really.
See, and that's the thing when you're in the South, like that's what Rex and Effects and like what's the other guy's name? Not Too Short, but you can get with this or you can get with that. What is that?
I forgot who that was.
Yeah, so I mean, Southern music was all about sex or just having fun. I think Goody Mob and Outkast, and more Goody Mob than anything. I feel like they were more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. We gonna give you this shit on the surface, but underneath all of this is roots. Is roots. It's deeply rooted. Like we not over here playing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. exactly.
I enjoyed them. I wasn't too far into them, but when I heard it, I was like, I know what that is. I
Yeah.
recognize what that is, because after that, or around the same time, you had Nas, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had I forgot who made Self Destruction. I forgot who made that.
Had it first, had self-destruction.
Yeah, you had Big Daddy Kane and all those guys
Mm-hmm.
putting out music, and it was inspiring, and it also gave me a tingle in the brain. It also told me that there were other things that I could pay attention to and learn from, and things like that. Especially as a young black man, or African American, indigenous man with no father figure and no real uncles around at all. The music kind of starts to shape your reality. Now, I didn't necessarily believe everything that I was hearing, like some people buy into, but there are times where I was naive with the things that they were saying, and then you was like, well, maybe that's how life should go. And certain people do follow it, but for the most part, there are certain things that they did say that I related to, and I kind of took from them, and I pieced them together to kind of create the world around me. Did any of that happen to you from listening to like TLC or?
I mean, I would have to say, like, I was pretty much sheltered as a kid. Okay. So, when I listen to that music now, or even like 5 or 10 years ago, it's a different consciousness, right? I think even when you look at the movies or whatever, whatever the case may be, it's kind of like you understand understand the meaning behind all of that you see or hear. So I think, my consciousness I didn't really have I wasn't really conscious until probably like 24, 25. Okay. Yeah. So but I think it's interesting that artists now are getting back in that conscious mode and not just putting out.
I think it's always been there. I don't think name an era where there wasn't any.
Well, no, there's always been, but I think it's just people are being more conscious about it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
we have more the younger generation speaking out.
Yes.
I think they're speaking out more, which is a great thing. The only thing I think that is lacking is the actual leadership and a goal, right? So no one really has a goal. There's protesting, but do you have an end goal? Are we trying to get lynching introduced as a federal crime? Things like that. Like, are we trying to get legislation passed? What are we trying to do? Where are we going from there? Because there's things that need to be taken care of so they don't continuously happen, right?
Yeah. So I think we don't have proper leadership, but I think we're going in a good path as far as because I think it's always levels to everything, or transitions, or kind of stages to everything. So once you get someone's attention, then you find a strategy and then you implement, right? So I think, one thing I think everyone is understanding is the riding is, okay, we got people's attention. Okay, now we're like, okay, we want to make, if Biden and Camilla gets in office, we are going to hold them accountable. And we're going to continue to put that force on them. And we're going to continue to elect people like, Cortez from New York, Alexandria Cortez. I mean, she's awesome and she's a power. And meaning that she's pushing, she's not the establishment. And hopefully she'll stay kind of in that pocket of not being able to be bought. But I think if we hold everyone accountable and really understand that whatever reason why, I don't know why you don't think your vote matters, but it does. People were marching a long time ago and were killed for the right for you to vote. So I don't know why you don't understand that it matters, but it does. And so right now, that's the point of rioting. They do have a strategy of let's vote.
Okay. Question about since we're on politics. When Trump first ran, who were you thinking was the best candidate as a Democrat? Who did you have in mind? Should it have been Bernie?
I'm gonna be honest with you, because I'm a capitalist, but I'm a kind of socialist in kind of the way I think. I think Bernie, between Bernie and Elizabeth, they were both good candidates. I think Biden, even though he was older, you know, he was pushing it all the way. You know, Elizabeth kind of Warren, she kind of was on the line. She didn't go over it, but she was on the line.
Do you think Bernie, excuse me, do you think Bernie actually tried, or do you feel like he just kind of just did what he thought was just necessary in his lane, and he didn't adjust to the times?
I think the system was in place that said we wanted Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, they made socialism to be this kind of thing where, okay, it should only be like in communist countries or in Cuba, right? So anytime, for us to be in a pandemic, like if he was running right now, he would win. Because we all need, literally, you need healthcare. Everyone needs healthcare. It's just like, I'm on Chicago Coalition for the Homeless. I'm on that board. And literally, our mission is like, we believe that having a home is a human right. Like, you being homeless is just absurd in America.
It doesn't make any sense. It
makes no sense.
Yeah.
Anytime Bezos can have billions of dollars, one human being.
Yeah.
We can't tax this dude.
Yeah.
Like what?
Tax all of them, really, right?
Tax all of them. Yeah.
And the thing, I think at one point I heard the strategy was, if we tax every billionaire if we taxed every billionaire from America or that lives in America, you would slowly decrease the debt and you could take care of everything. You could introduce health care where no one has to pay for it and things like that.
If you think about it, the corporations the tax cuts that we give corporations in Chicago, just Chicago alone, literally we start saying, okay, this is your percentage. And also, if you live in downtown and you have a certain either mortgage, a certain amount of mortgage, or you pay a certain amount of rent, you need to get taxed. I think New York does that. Like if you pay us over a certain amount in rent or mortgage, they tax you. I think it's rent though. I think it's rent. Like it's a certain percentage, because it's basically telling the city or state, hey, you make a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely.
Things can be that simple, but because little people do not have that power, or we decide not to have that power. We decide not to have that power because
I feel like
actually we're the majority.
Don't have it, and when you're dealing with conservatives, prime word conserve, which is me, I'm just gonna keep all my shit to myself. They're not gonna give up. They're not gonna give up that, and they know they have a lot of these senators and politicians in their back pocket, so
yep,
they're gonna be protected just through that alone. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know much about politics.
No, but we've been trying to do this real estate tax, transfer tax. So every time you buy a property over $1 million, I think it's like 2%. And so that 2%, half of that would go to advocating or basically resources for homeless people, and, giving them shelter and giving them a voucher or whatever, that would look like.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been on that board for 2 years now.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
Okay. How did you get into that?
So I was on another board, and then I would, like, a lot of my friends are on boards. I think, here's the deal. When you hang around a certain group of people, they're gonna influence you to do something, definitely. Either if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yep.
So I have a group of women. We all are very active. And if we have someone around us, we make sure they're active. So I was around a group of women. I've been on another board, Legacy Project, and I've been on that board for like 6 years now, 5 or 6 years now.
So none of those conflict with the other, no?
No, I call it my gay board and my straight board. So, like Legacy Project is, it preserves LGBTQ folks, like a James Baldwin, the history of James Baldwin, and put them in a LGBT curriculum plan. that actually we got passed, a bill that we got passed. So now LGBT curriculum is in high schools, or they have the option to teach it. So that's what that nonprofit does. It's a smaller nonprofit, like Chicago Coalition for the Homeless. I think our budget is like, it's ridiculous, like 20 million, because we do a lot of advocacy.
20 million? Oh, wow.
It's a nice chunk. You will be amazed. Like even right now, we're doing really well because, this pandemic is showing you what the disparities are. So folks are giving, and I think you don't realize how many homeless people there are in Chicago alone. And like,
all you gotta
when
do
I
is
say
walk
homeless,
Lower
like some,
Wacker. All you have to do is walk Lower Wacker. You will see
well,
it.
it's more than that though.
I'm
So
just
like,
saying.
say,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
saying, you just go
yeah,
down there and just check it out. The little tent setup that they
yeah.
have, like it's madness. And I shouldn't say madness, but it's different. You go, wow, what the fuck? Like people are living down here like this.
But I think you don't see the people that are doubled up. Like, I may be your cousin and I may not have a home. So I'm like, hey, can I come and stay on your couch? So that's homeless. You know
Okay.
that person is
Okay, I
homeless.
hear what you're saying. Yeah, I used to help people out like that too, but you gotta draw the line. Some people just don't know how to, they don't know
Well,
how to.
send them to Chicago Coalition for the Homeless. We will definitely give them resources.
Gotcha. Is that one of the things? Is that one of the things that you're still working on, or not one of the things you're still working on? Is there another thing that you're going to be working on as well with that, or just those two?
Well, see, so once you get on these boards, you understand that. I know for me, it's about me being an African American woman on a board that has some influence and around people who have some type of influence, and understanding that you want to make sure that you push your agenda. And so my agenda is always my skin color,
African
right?
woman or African American woman, do you ever feel like you're being held back because of that?
I think, you're not the loudest voice in the room because you are an African American woman. So you have to, stand up and say, okay, shout it once, shout it twice, and sometimes the third time you gotta come back and shout it. But for the most part, they do hear you. That's the reason why they put you on the board.
Okay.
And they take your money. That's it.
Because
I need to be on a paid board.
The other part, excuse me, the other part was that I know as a strong Black woman that you are African or African American. I know at times when women do voice their opinion, it comes across as, she's being too rough or she's being too outspoken, and she's being too boisterous or obnoxious. So they kind of hold those things against you. I'm not saying that they're doing that against you, but I know in certain places when I'm talking to people, they're like, man, if they would just let me do what I'm trying to do or let me in and show them what I can do, then I could get further. So that was the reason why I asked you that.
Well, you know what? I'm always like that person that if you don't hear me and you don't implement what I think is maybe best. Sometimes I may not have a good idea. Even though you think you have the best ideas ever, right? The reality is sometimes maybe it's not at that time, but they heard you and they'll implement it later on. But what I found though is that when I know that my voice is not heard, I have to move on.
So when it's not heard, you move on. Do you ever fight for it, or you just know that it's just not it?
Oh no, you fight for it.
Okay.
And then when you realize, okay, maybe this is not working.
Okay.
And this is not working for both parties. This is, I'm not getting, or the organization is not getting any benefit from me, and vice versa, right? Because I think with all relationships, regardless of what it is, if it's for a nonprofit or or a friendship or whatever the case may be, you both need to benefit from each other in some way. If I just feel good about being on that board or just feel good about what we do as a whole, as an organization, if I'm not feeling good about that and I don't feel like, those things are being, what I feel like should be goals of a lot of organizations, if I feel like that's not being done, I'm probably gonna walk away. If I feel like that I can't contribute and, I can't make a difference, you have to move on. have to step away. It's just like friendships, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. If it's not yielding fruit anymore, you kind of just go, all right, not that I don't want to be around you no more, but I need to move on because right now where we are isn't, like it's being stagnant or it's complacent, and I got to do something that elevates me and makes me more progressive. Absolutely. Do you
Exactly.
do mentor work?
So I used to do it. I don't do it now, but I feel like I need to do some of that. And maybe you can help me out with that. Kind
Maybe I
of,
can help you out with that.
yeah. Do you have any programs? Are you working with any programs? Are you a mentor?
No, so I in the last few years, I've been asked to be on a board for some people. Um, I've been asked to be a part of some programs as well. But the thing about it was I got caught up in trying to move and in a relationship or a
Okay.
semi-relationship that I was dealing with. So there were things around me that kind of kept my attention. So I wasn't really able to focus on that. And as you know, like I've dealt with the youth previously in my life, and that's something I'm very serious about. So if it's something that I'm gonna do, I have to be supremely dedicated to it, and nothing can interfere. Because once I get involved in something like that, or trying to do this podcast or whatever it is, I have tunnel vision, and you can't get me out of that. And so there are times when I may disappear for months because I'm focused on that. So I may dibble and dab and see where my help is needed, but I haven't full on taken on the responsibility of being what I guess they call a mentor, a role model. I call it a real model because a lot of the role models that
I like that.
yeah, they playing a role, they acting, and for me, I'm a real model. These kids that have been around me, if they haven't been around my place, I've taken them around different neighborhoods. I've had them on trips and things like that, so they have a better understanding of what life is outside of the community that they live in. And a lot of them don't get that, whether they're on the south side, the east side, or the west side. All they know is their side of the city or just a part of their side of the city. Some of them have never been 3 miles out of where they stay. Some of them have never been outside of Chicago, and that's one of the things that I think is important as well to show them. But no, I have not been adamantly involved in any type of mentorship or anything like that. And right now, it kind of makes me a little upset thinking about it because there's a lot of kids out there who do need help. But
Yeah.
what I do in passing, I do in passing. Like if you ever see me out, maybe you ever haven't. When someone's doing something wrong, I don't jump on them, but I always just talk to them and try to have a conversation because a lot of these young men and women, they just need somebody to talk to or someone to listen, right? A lot of times you don't need nobody to tell you should do this, you should do this, you should do. Sometimes they just need somebody to listen to them. And I learned that from being around these kids and from myself growing up and being full of rage and anger and being upset all the time. Sometimes you just want somebody to just listen to you. You don't need nobody to just necessarily tell you what to do. Oh, you need to do it like this, or you need to do. Bro, I don't need you to tell me any of that shit. Sometimes you just need to vent. Even as adults, we need to vent. And I think that's one of the things that we have yet to understand as a humanity. Just being able to understand people and let people talk, let them get their point across. This is what I'm dealing with. And when I'm on a bus, when I'm walking through downtown, or recently when I'm at work and you had all these wild situations happening, and you're coming out or whatever, and you're able to speak to them, you speak to them with respect or tolerance, you know what I mean? And from that, you get conversation, and some of them do understand. All of them aren't. I know that. I know for a fact everyone's not going to understand what I'm talking about and what's going on. But there are those who do heed word, and they do understand what's going on and what you're saying. So I think it is imperative that us as Black men, Black women, Africans, Indigenous, whatever we're going to call it, that we do every now and then. If you see something wrong, you just say something to them. I walked past a young man where I was earlier today. I was like, my guy, pull your pants up, man. That don't look right when you bend over. You know what I mean? He bending over, he trying to pick up his belongings and tie his shoe. I'm like, man, pull your pants up. And he just looked at me, but he ain't say nothing. I'm like, bro, just pull your pants up, man. It look weird when you bent over like that, And then he pulled him up, and then when I walked up, he kept doing what he was doing. But there are certain things that they don't have like a big brother. The big brother might be dead. He might be in jail. They may not have one. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that we can do to positively affect the youth of today in our everyday life. Even if I'm not involved in any mentorship, I try to make myself accessible. Um, and I think that's always been a positive thing to me, to always help, because I know growing up, being told that I was always the person that was doing something wrong. Everything was always my fault. You're always angry. That's why this happens. And in the reality of it, it's not that I'm just angry. It's probably because I'm dealing with other young, angry men just like me. And because they're angry, no one's telling them how to deal with the anger, right?
Exactly.
Right.
They don't know how to process it in a way that's
so it's misplaced. It's misplaced anger and frustration. And when you're being told at home to shut up and be a man, and they're telling you these things, you're telling me to hold back my feelings and put them to the side. So consequently, as a young man, a young black man, whoever, when you put your feelings to the side, the only remaining emotion that you have is anger, and you will do everything out of anger. You know what I mean? So I know I did, and I'm not speaking for anybody else, but I know until I realized what I was doing, I did a lot of stuff out of anger.
But I think also as a society, that's kind of how we view weakness when someone cries, period. Yeah. Regardless if it's a woman or a man, right? So, like I hear people all the time like, oh my God, women, and the worst thing they can do at work is cry, right? So I think that we have always been conditioned, if I cry, then I'm weak, instead of, and you don't learn that until you go see a therapist or just have the conversation we're having. Yeah, no, that's just, that means that you care.
Yeah, some people are just more emotional than others, right?
Yes.
And that's just, again, a reality of human beings. Like, there are differences in all of us. Mm-hmm. And we shouldn't be so quick to judge or say nasty, mean things about it. It's just a realization like, oh, that's how they deal with hurt, or that's how they deal with being rushed at work, or that's how they deal with different situations. But for me, it was anger, and I'm not gonna get into. I could tear shit up. You know what I mean? Like, especially if I got into an altercation and it became physical, you were gonna be in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. You know what I mean? And I should tell people like, yo, I don't want, leave me alone, because if it get there, I don't back down. I don't back down. You got to get everything that I've been dealing with. So I feel like that. Yeah, that's just one of those things. Crying. There's nothing wrong with crying. I feel like when people cry, they cleanse themselves. No matter if they're happy, sad, mad, angry, excited, elated, whatever it may be. I feel like they're just cleansing their palate, and it resets. It's like a refresh as well. So I don't have no problem with it. I just know when women cry, and I don't know if they're happy or not, it's the worst feeling ever. I was like, oh shit, like, what do I do?
Yeah, it's awkward. Yeah. Look, even me being a woman, it's like when somebody else cries, and I'm like, oh my God.
Because all y'all get emotional, man. All y'all get emotional.
Men get emotional too, seriously.
Yeah, men, but I'm just saying, if a woman sees another person cry, y'all, oh my God, like, y'all start doing that. I'm like, uh-oh.
Well, no, like for me, I don't start crying. I just kind of like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
Because you automatically want to fix the situation.
Yeah. And for me, so I got homegirls, I got women friends. So when they're emotional, some of them know I can't cry around him, because if it's something that's hurting me and it has to do with my boyfriend, he is gonna, like, he's gonna snap. So certain things that they don't tell me about unless they know we're far out of the way of the situation, and we're not gonna be able to do it. You know what I mean? So they make sure, like, if we're having a good time, they'll bring it up, like, hey, this is what's going on. You know what I mean? But often it's a rarity to see men cry. And the men that I have seen cry, they're strong dudes. You know what I mean? Like, they're pretty strong guys. I know a young man who's been dealing with a hell of a lot, and this made it worse. And when we were talking, he smiled the whole time. I'm like, bro, you smiling. Like, that's different. He's like, bro, because I've cleansed my palate, all that crying I did and telling you everything. And I was a mentor for him. You know, he's like, all that crying I did and all the talk. He's like, I got to where I wanted to get. He said, I'm doing better. He said, even through this situation, I'm doing better than where I was a year and a half ago when we first talked. Like, everything, he said, everything has changed. He said, yeah, this is happening, but I'm happy. And I said, you're one of the few gems in life right now, because I was expecting when he talked to me that he would be upset and he would start crying, you know, and it's only so many bro hugs I can give you, you know what I mean? Like, I can't, you know what I mean? Like, at some point, I just tell you, you got to suck that shit up, bro, for real.
Don't tell them that.
No, I mean, no, I wasn't going to tell him that, but if he would have just started crying.
No, you should say, just cleanse yourself, bro.
Yeah.
When you're alone,
yeah,
cleanse yourself.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've cried. I've cried in the shower. You know what I mean? Out of frustration, being denied promotions and shit like that, knowing I worked my ass off, that shit makes you upset. And then you see the person that get it and you like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That person ain't do half the shit I did.
Yeah.
So it's certain things that made me cry growing up. You know what I mean? I can speak personally. Not having my father around, you know, not knowing how to tie a tie, not knowing how to talk to girls, just not having him around to even just talk to in general. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not feeling like I had that type of protection around me. All
the
that
normal things. The normal things. I said just the normal things. I get it.
Yeah, just regular normal shit. You know, that it would times I would be crying about that, like, yo, what the fuck? And then you start asking, why don't he love me, or why don't he want to be around or be involved in my life? And one day you wake up and you realize, like, I'm a grown ass man. I can help my family. I can do for myself, and I don't need that no more. And I think for me, going back to the mentorship, that's one of the reasons why I became a part of that, right? Because I understand some of this shit that these guys do. I get it.
And that makes a big difference when someone
I get it.
Had lived their truth. Yeah.
I get it. Yo, y'all want to go to the boxing gym with me? I can take you out to the boxing gym. Y'all can get some of that shit out your system. Because it's misplaced anger and aggression, right? You need to get some of that shit out your system. Or, hey, y'all want to talk? Then don't nobody want to say nothing. And you stand up and I give my story. Hey, at 16 years old, I did this, and this. I heard this person, I did this to this person. It's all facts. Like, you can go ask. Like, I hand-to-hand combat, I was busting people to fuck up. Straight up. So if you having these conversations and you get them to open up and you see that they're all in the same spot and they're all looking for an outlet. But I know that they don't know it, but they need it. So that was one of the reasons why I just got involved in being a mentor. I think it's just needed, you know. It's kind of like being a person's shrink without the title.
Very true.
You know what I mean? Like being able
that is true. Yeah.
Being able to just let them talk and not necessarily have answers. You know, or just say, hey, do you want my opinion, or do you want to know what I think you should do about it? And if they don't want to hear that, then you don't want to hear it. I dap them up, my dude, and we just keep talking. You know what I mean? But I think it's very important as human beings that we try to understand one another, right? Just because we're different doesn't mean that, you know, we can't get along. It's just.
But that's the thing that separates us from animals, is that.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
If we don't have that, then we're an animal.
You become an animal. You know what I mean? I think even if you look at today's world, I feel like we act off of a lot of animal instinct, right? It's the first thing that we feel or think, and we just act off of it instead of sitting back, thinking about it, processing what you're seeing or what you're hearing, and going from there. I think a lot of people are just responding to shit. Oh, why did someone posted a meme? Or, oh, the president said that. Man, step back and process some of that stuff. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, some of the things that we feel are disrespectful, sometimes they aren't. It just might be the person that is saying it. They don't fucking know no better.
Yeah.
Better. So me being around rap music and going out and doing rap music, you're around all these different collectives of people. Some of them ain't black. Some of them ain't African. They start saying shit. You like, yo, fam. You can't say the N
Can't
word.
say that.
You can't. Nope. He's like, bro. But these are all my guys. If I hear it one more time, bro, it's gonna be me and you. It's gonna be me and you. But then you looking at their environment and everybody like, yo, it's cool, bro. Like we not on that here. I'm like, I don't give no fuck about that. Where I'm from, that's That's a no-no. That's a no-no. But in certain environments, they feel like that's okay. Me, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But it just is what it is. But there's an understanding though, right? Like I get it. I get why they feel that way. This guy been around them for so long. He been rapping or whatever. Cool. But for me, I'm not gonna participate in that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely makes sense. Well, I have to tell you, this has been therapy for me.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, first of all, so I'm one of those people like I need an agenda. So when you told me it wasn't an agenda, I was like, oh my God, whatever.
No.
I don't know. Like I think it's just a bit of control for me a little bit. So, but I'm enjoying our conversation.
You can't have no control over here, Ren.
I know.
Don't run nothing over here. I told you that.
I got it. I hear you.
Every time I keep telling you, Leo, you don't have. There is no control.
Well, you see, I said, okay, that sounds great. I'll flow. I'll flow with the old show.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it my way, man. Ain't nothing bad gonna happen. It ain't gonna bring up nothing crazy and wild, and talk about something that you don't necessarily want to speak on. It's just about having conversation, exposing people to how you live your normal life, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where do you stay? You don't have to give out like specific.
North. What's so funny? At Chicago, like they changed the name of the neighborhood to make the appreciation go up. Mm-hmm. So I've been here for 5 years, and in 5 years I've been here, it's been Roscoe Village, North Center, and now it's East Avondale.
East Avondale. Wow.
East Avondale. I'm sorry. It was Riverview. So it was Roscoe Village, Riverview, North Center, and now it's East Avondale. So, it's a lot of development all over. Like Tesla is right over here.
Okay.
3 blocks away. It's Metropolis Coffee or whatever. They just built and then it's another new beer place that's popped up.
What beer place is this?
You said what?
What beer place is this?
I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. I'll check when I go over there. Because it's like, it's a lot of industrial spaces on Elston. So I'm like, I'm off of Belmont, and then my cross street is Washtenaw. So you got Western Washtenaw.
Okay.
But it's so much like popping up over here, it's like ridiculous.
Would you ever live outside of the country or outside of the U.S.? America?
Oh my God. Yeah, I would.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You have a list already?
You know what? So I feel like I haven't been to enough places to have like a list. I mean, like I went to Cape Town and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. But Cape Town, you can only live so many months there. And then you're like, okay, I need some more money.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Dublin when I went. Yeah, I think Dublin is probably like more kind of, I hate to say American, but it like had all those amenities that you would want. And I feel like the cost of living there is not bad. I enjoyed Dublin. It was just like a hodgepodge of people. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Australia is too far from my mom, so I couldn't move to Australia. But I enjoyed Sydney, Melbourne.
Woo. How was that? I haven't been.
Melbourne. So I'm a cocktail fiend. So
cocktail thing?
You said what?
Yeah, you're a cocktail thing. What?
Fiend. Okay. Yeah, like crack fiend.
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah. So they had all these like real speakeasies. Like here we have these like modern speakeasies, but like they had so many like, you go through an alley and you don't know, they don't have anything, no signs. Exactly. And it was just so cool. So I loved the kind of way that they present and stuff. And I love like everywhere you go, like all the cocktail bars, they play hip hop.
Okay.
I thought that was so cool.
Oh, that sounds dope.
Biggie, okay. Rakim, Rakim, okay.
Yeah, playing that good shit.
Yeah. I was like, okay. Ron DMC, this is cool. I can do this. Yeah. So I actually enjoy Melbourne over Sydney because Melbourne reminded me so much of Chicago. Like I feel like Sydney is New York and Melbourne is Chicago. Yeah, it was just like cooler people, just more down to earth.
And you said this was like therapy to you?
Yes. Great conversation. You know I love conversation. Like the only thing
I do too. Like, that's the whole purpose of this.
Yeah.
The whole purpose. I love conversation. And I'm not going to talk to somebody I don't think can hold a conversation with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I know that's going to happen, I know that you're either worth one or two things for me, depending on who you are. So,
what are those two things?
Just life lessons, you know.
You gonna share off the video, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I
like
gotta remember to ask that question.
With certain people, I have to get straight to the point, right? You know? Like I know you know what's up, man. Like you know what's up. Like
what you say? Okay.
You know what time it is, man. Like I'm not gonna waste no games with people, man. Like you know, like we've done that before when we're people watching and we're looking at people and we go, that one right there, yep, such and such and such, and we're breaking it down. And often at times where it's spot on. So even me and Big Bro Ken, me and him do it, and yep, So conversation to me is it's healthy. It's also wealth because you get to build and you get to have a better understanding of people. So when you're having conversations, there's a learning experience or there's just a vibe and energy that you create with people.
Oh my God, I have a new word, social wealth.
Social wealth?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Use your wealth and put social with it, social wealth.
Bang, bang. Yeah, it's a, I guess we're going to make it a thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I should have named the podcast that, Social Wealth.
Yeah.
I could go back.
Hashtag social wealth.
Yeah.
Let's get some more.
You want to discuss?
No. So who have you kind of done a podcast with so
far? So one of the brothers I was going to do a podcast with, he's an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. I think he has a record label.
Oh, awesome.
Or he's a manager for people. But we have to reschedule because he couldn't get it together when we were supposed to do it. The doctor that I was supposed to interview, that didn't go right. And everybody else, pretty much. So I have 4 or 5.
Am I like the first official one?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm like.
Oh, like number 4 or 5.
Okay, because I'm like, it's a lot to be first.
No, my first one was just dope. Like it just, boom, bro was just like, yo, sign me up. I want to do it right away. I don't care. He's I just want to talk. I got stuff to talk about. And he sat on the phone, and we were just running through conversation easily, And I think again, that's one of the best things is because people aren't seeing the way we engage in conversation, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't have a college degree, but I think I can keep up with somebody because I'm around. Like I done some stuff out here. So so like I ain't no.
You have social wealth.
Bang bang, there it is. I got my social wealth, and it's up. It's way up. So he signed it. He's like, yo, ASAP, get me on there. So he's an artist. I think also. Man, it's so much stuff that we were talking about that he's doing and trying to be involved and leave a mark, on this earth. And while he's out in Columbus, Ohio, I think, or Cincinnati. So he was the very first one. I did one Saturday or Sunday. I did one Sunday, and it wasn't going well from the phone, from the laptop. So we switched to the phone.
Okay.
Phone did not save any of that shit.
Oh.
So I lost that whole thing. The one I did Saturday, the Saturday one, it was cool too. Like I enjoyed that one because it was just good conversation. It seems to be for me for now that it's harder to get the women involved. Yeah, it's harder to get the women involved. Like the dudes, they're just like, yo, when? Yes, cool, I love it, bro. I would love to talk to you about, and they'll go like, yo, about anything, whatever you want to talk about, we can just jump into it, you know. The women, well, what do I have to wear? Like, what time? Like, what type of lighting do you have? Like,
oh, I asked too many questions, but I asked them at the last minute.
You didn't. It was easier to get you on because you was like, hey, I got a board meeting this day. That's a bad week for me because I got to do this, that, and the third. And then when you're doing it, I'm like, I'm scheduling them as you're saying it. Like, well, all right, she ain't going to do it that day. I'll put somebody here. I'll put somebody there. Yeah, so it's a handful of women who want to do it. It's a handful of women. And I think it's more so, not to say anything bad, it's usually the dopest women I know. You know what I mean? They're just like, well, I can do that. I know how to have a conversation. The ones who haven't done it and I think could do it are the ones who can talk. They just shy.
Okay.
You know, like they're not used to being on camera or doing something like this. So, and I'm like, it's a conversation from your home or from your office. Like we're not doing nothing wild. We're just having a conversation. You know, if you want to talk about doing hair or having a salon, we can talk about that. I don't know nothing about it, but I'm about to learn, damn it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I got a few done, but I'm gonna put together a body of work before I start throwing them out there.
I'm looking forward to seeing the body of work.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Me too. Anything else you want to cover? No?
No.
No? You good?
Yeah, don't get mad if I do some hashtag social wealth on my next Instagram.
No, do that shit.
Put a cocktail.
Listen, if it take off, make shirts. Make sure you get makeup off of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure it'll work. Where are you bartending? You doing any bartending anywhere? No?
You know, I mean, I'm drinking somewhere. You know, I'm always drinking somewhere.
Yeah, because I get invited.
I bartend at home. I barely want to do it. After I get my third cocktail in me, I'll be like, just figure out for yourself. Fend for yourself.
You like me a lot, but part of me not going was because I was trying to get this together.
Okay. So we have to get a cocktail soon.
Yeah, definitely. But it's just that I'm trying to get so many things put together and in order, so I don't have to worry about them no more.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then doing this was like, well, I'm doing it at a reasonable time for everybody. So that's
rain check is out there then.
Huh?
Said the rain check is out there.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. It has to be. I've scheduled these like every day or every other day.
Oh, so you have a lot of good content then.
Hopefully. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to do as many as I can, and I can put a body of work together. That way, when I start putting it out, I can just release one every week.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to do it half-ass. I think I'm trying to put together a decent body of work so people can see the interaction and understand, you know, what it's really about over here.
Now, do you know E3 Radio? They always make content.
No.
So actually, I know her, but they do podcasts and they always want programming. So
awesome.
When you're pretty much done, I'll connect you to Anna Deshawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I accept that.
Yeah.
Remember,
I'm sure it's one of many resources that you'll have.
Listen. Right now, I'm just trying to put it together. You know.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to get it together. You know, this is not like writing a verse where I can put it together, have somebody put the beat on there and throw it out there. You know, it's more you want to have the right content. Yeah. So
collaborations are always interesting.
Yeah, because and like that's the reason why I said like I wanted to do it, because I'm not sure what people are gonna bring to the table or what they're gonna say. I had one guy. I'm not gonna release that interview because he want to go to war. He want to go. I'm like, dude, you don't have no missiles. You don't have enough weapons.
But actually, that would be kind of funny, though. I mean, it's not funny, but I think it would be. I'm sure a piece of that interview is probably something good that you can say from it.
It's just overall funny, and I think like interviews like that to get me the views if that's what it was about for me, but it's not.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that a person would say something like that, and I don't think I would want to be connected to it, because when I listened to it the other day, and I'm listening to it, and I think I don't know if I deleted it or I threw it in the trash or some shit like that, and I'm like, dude, the stuff you saying could get you killed.
Oh.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you out here talking about declaring war on people. Don't you know that you got a phone in your pocket, and if somebody wanted to, they could blow the phone up while you walking down the street? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, stop being stupid. Stop being stupid. And then I asked him, I said, after you do all this, where you going to go? Because when they come, they're going to come for your mama. They're going to come for your kids. You know what I mean? So, like, man, be smart. You're not thinking. That's not how generals think. If you do war is about moves. And it's also about money, and you don't have none. So stop playing. But I have a few good conversations. I'm trying to get more women on board because it is imperative that we tell the narrative of women and their experiences and document that shit.
So you know what? I have a really good friend. She has an awesome kind of background and just kind of understanding of politics in Chicago and kind of, I'm gonna see if she wants to do it.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I don't mind doing it. I just think that, look, I love women. You know that. You know that. So I also think that women have a story to tell, especially ones that beautiful Black women or just Black women in general. They have a story to tell.
Yeah, she's a good storyteller. So try to get her on. Cool. All right.
All right. So I ain't gonna hold you no more.
So rain check though. Okay.
Rain check. Yeah, we can definitely do it. I don't know if I should do it while I'm on the phone.
Well, here's the deal. Just like, okay, yeah. See, we're recording right now, so I know that when you say whatever date you give me.
Oh yeah, let's talk.
Okay, it could be next month. It could be next month. I mean, literally, I'm giving you a full month because we just started a new month. Oh.
Yeah, I mean September 10th, like I'm not doing nothing. September 11th, there's nothing.
Okay. I do have something September 11th. What? I know. See, okay, so I asked for something and then.
Yeah, that's how you do me all the time. Hold on, let's get off this interview though, man.
We can do the 10th.
Hold on, we about to get off this interview though.
You said what?
I am about to get off this interview first.
Oh, okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.